Hi, my name is Lauren Arno, and today we are going to be doing a pretty awesome painting, really blue, super saturated painting of Mr. Raul Mora Campos. Now, he took this inspiration photo for us, and it's like so beautiful and saturated with intense blues. So I thought we would really play that up and work primarily in contrasting colors with these blues, where you have his beautiful olive tone skin with the oranges and like the rainbows and the reflections here. And we're just gonna have a lot of fun painting this one. So I hope you enjoy this watercolor adventure with me, and let's get started. All right, let's get this painting of Mr. Raul Mora Campos started. Our muse from the Muse by Sketchy app. Absolutely loving the strong blues. And so we're definitely going to continue sticking with that. Sorry about those noises. It's just my foot stuck on my chair. So as always, I'm going to start out with a wet on wet wash with this gorgeous blue everything. So I'm going in with my round, floofy-ish number 8 brush. And I just want to get a nice gloss on the page. No drippy, just glossy. So in order to see the gloss, sometimes you might need to lift your paper or look at it from an angle. You might have to gloss over things twice, but that's okay. Just want to get a nice surface for our blue paint, more like cyan paint, to really play. And get in there. Oop, missed the spot. See, that's why it helps to hold it at a funny angle. All right, so we got that glossy. Now I'm going to take some of my Daniel Smith Phthalo Blue, the green shade. Get that all nice and diluted. Just gonna dilute my other paints while I'm at it. Save myself some time. And drop this in. Really letting the bristles of the brush spread out. Put that paint in there for me. Not just, using the tip of it, but really utilizing as much of the brush as possible. I want to pull some of this blue up to his beard and the shadow areas over here. I even want to put a little bit into the shadows that are cast. Oh, I forgot to draw that shadow there. That are cast on his face from his sunglasses. I forgot something. I always forget something. But that's okay. Totally did not make that shadow big enough. I can just adjust it here. I always try to make sure I don't take exactly from my blob right to the paper. I try to evenly distribute the paint into my bristles first before I move it onto the paper, because otherwise you make it like weird chunky blobs in your painting. I mean, like, if you like that, you can do it, but I don't know. So that's why I do that. Put you there. Okie dokie. Ooh, I also want to put this under his nose because there's fun shadow there. Even though it's more like a reddish shadow, we're still gonna do it because I really want a blue theme going on here. I'm not sure if my microphone is picking it up, but there's a little birdie singing outside the window. Okay. So now with just the damp, clean brush that I blotted, I'm going to go back through and sop up some of the paint in these areas and then blot again because these are like lighter. And pick up those little areas of highlight. And it gives really nice, smooth, soft edges to gradation. You could even take your don't knock over the water, paper towel or tissue. Just make sure it's like not very linty, and use that to blot up some of these little highlight areas. So, you know, you're just painting in reverse. Then it's not like you're blotting up a mistake or anything. Like, you're doing it on purpose because it's what looks good. I don't want a hard line there, so I'm just gonna smoosh that edge so it's not as uniform. It's really important that when you are using this blotting, lifting technique, that you don't have your painting like sopping wet, because otherwise, like, it's just going to run back to where you took it away from. And you also don't want it too dry because then it's not going to lift as nicely. So it's all a game of timing. But it's fun. It's like a little puzzle you gotta solve in your head. If you have the Muse by Sketchy app, I highly recommend checking out Mr. Campos's inspiration feed. He has such incredible photo skills and capturing really inspiring, fun colors and playing with intense shadows, which translates so well to drawing and painting. So I appreciate him sharing his work. All the silly people on Sketchy. And some of us aren't so silly. I'm silly. With all of us artists. There's like a triangular shape shadow there, I sort of forgot. And so as the paper is now starting to dry, I can get in more of these defined shapes of the creases and the folds, and they're still fuzzy edges, but not as fuzzy. I'll make sure I don't have too much water on that. I just want to drag this up and blend it, but I don't want it to bloom. Bloom is when the paint to water ratio on your brush is not equal to what's on the paper, and so there's too much water, and it will cause this neat little blooming sort of cauliflower effect. It's really quite lovely. Some people like it as a tool in creating unique textures. Other artists are like, no, I don't like it. So you can always play and figure out what ratios of water to paint cause that on your paper, because every paper is different, and how it absorbs water and the sizing and all that sort of stuff. So but I think I've been pronouncing the brand name of my paper incorrectly, because I always say Arches, but it's French, and so what would the proper pronunciation be? I heard someone on social media pronounce it as something completely else, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like such a bad artist. I don't know how to pronounce the name of my paper. See, this area here might bloom because of the fact that the paint underneath it wasn't completely dry, and I may have added more water than paint ratio there. But we're just going to let it do its thing. All right, so now I have these clouds here, and I really wanted to blot it a bit more with the paper towel to get sort of a floofy effect. I don't think that's going to work at this point, so I'm just going to have to re-wet those areas with the brush. And a good thing that this phthalo blue isn't a staining color, so I'll still be able to go in and get some cute floof cloud. Just gonna scrub a little bit more water on there. You know, I think I taped my paper on backwards. Backwards, upside down, I don't know. But I mean, you could still paint on both sides, but the texture just is slightly different on this side than the other side. Okay, well that was fun. I know your painting is done. No, so that is my first layer down. Pardon me while I adjust myself in my chair. Okay, so now I am going to start coming in working on the face area. I'm still going to use my number 8 brush, but I'm also going to grab a number 4. And I really wanted to have my number 6, but I lent it to my mom. And that's okay. These are 2. So I have a synthetic 4 because it has a nice snap to it, and then I have a squirrel because it's more floopy. So I use the brushes that have more snap to it when I do more detail work, and the floopy ones, the natural bristles, to take care of like when I want to really move and manipulate paint without being so harsh. So gonna have to mix up some orangey color for his skin. So gonna take some of this quinacridone. No, this is quinacridone red, permanent rose by Magello Mission Magello Gold. I don't remember. And going to take some permanent yellow from Holbein. Mix that in there. Ooh, that's nice. But not quite what I want. I'm gonna leave that though. Mix a little bit more of this in here. But I think I want more yellow in here. Sorry about filming the top of my head there. More yellow. That's nice. Okay. So I'm going to start with his forehead area here. I'm going to use my number 8 to just get that damp. And let that sit for a second. So I'm just going to start working his face just by going shape by shape around. Some of this beautiful yellow here in this highlight area. Grabbing some of the orangey mixture, putting it in there, because the edges here obviously pulled further back in shadow because of his headscarf wrap thing. And I definitely am playing up the contrast of the oranges versus the blues because, they're complementary. So I really want to play with that. It's another thing about his work, his photographs, his inspiration photos, is that he really likes playing around with the colors and offering some nice contrast. Should put a little bit more yellow here. Just gonna let that spread. All right, now I'm gonna move over to the little nose area, and right here, I'm gonna dampen that and lift it a little bit there. I just said I was going to move to the nose. What am I doing? Moving to a cheek. Okay, now I'm going to move to the nose. My dog is sitting next to me and she's just getting ready to take a nap because she's a good girl. Isn't that pretty? Too much, too much. I just need pew pew noises at my artwork. I'm going to use my number 8 just to pull up the little highlight here, as well as on the bridge of the nose. I'm going to go back once it's a little bit drier to add the shadow under the glasses there, just because if I put that in right now, it's going to get pulled down to where I don't want it to go. This needs to have a little bit more orange here. So see how this brush, if I go like that, it sort of stays tinted versus this one, even though it's wet. So that is Snap. Just adding a little more fun to the shadow here. Bring this up around here. Down here. And here. Now, just continuing to move down with these shadows. Grab some more of the yellow. So I'm sort of using like the yellow for my lightest tones, orangish something for the mids, and using the rose for more of my darker tones, and like in the really dark areas, that's when I'm going to, mix some violet with the quinacridone and phthalo blue. It's always fun to forget what I'm talking about, like mid-sentence. By fun, I mean, not really. I'm so excited with how this is turning out. I'm so very happy. It's just such a wonderful inspiration pick. Just the whole upwards angle of his face. Beautiful continuity of color. Amazing, strong blue coming through. It's just wow. Now, I'm still trying to put my own spin on things because, you know, don't want to just do a direct copy of the photograph. Come here. Come on. Don't want to accidentally scratch paper. All right, so I'm just going to let that rest for a second. All right, so I am getting a little bloomy bloom in this area here. I sort of like where it's going, but I'm going to try to guide it a little bit. I'm just going to soften out this little edge here. And then add a little bit more shadow going into here towards the edge of this. And yeah, I like that. Now I'm going to work on the bottom lip. The paper is almost dry. Which is cool. I'm gonna leave like a little highlight there because you can see the edge of the lip, how it's glowing. Glowing? I don't know. It's not really emitting its own light, but it appears to be glowing. So I shall use that term. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave that little fun little area there. And I'm going to work in that area here and pull the quinacridone down into his neck. So play with that shadow there. Might as well glaze right here. Happy noises. All right, so now I'm going to mix up a little bit of a violet. So I'm going to take some of the phthalo blue, put it in this little spot here. Use the edge to get as much off as I can. No wasting paint, please. And drop in a little bit. So now we have this beautiful royal blue. But I'm not there yet. I still want it to be warmer. Oh, look at that violet. Isn't that lovely? Warmer still. Nope, not yet. Oh no, too warm. Back it up, back it up. Come on, we can get this color mixture. There we go. That's what I wanted. Kind of close to that, but whatever. Close enough. All right, so I want to work some of this up into here where his shadow under his lip is. I'm going to definitely define that shadow way more in a little bit, but for right now I just want like a nice little glaze. And I'm going to work on his mustache and the shadow that is on his upper lip. Because I'm going to try to have it make a little bit more sense. And if you look into the nose area, you can't really see it from the screen, but right here is darker than right there in the nose. So I mean, they're like shadows within the shadows. And sometimes it's fun to explore them, because it just adds a little bit more fun depth to what you're doing. Whoops. Didn't mean to drop that there. Yeah, I like that. Too strong. And there's a little bit of a purple shadow right here. And it goes down to like right there. And then let's add a little bit of orange to just sort of like cohesive it together. Why are you whispering? Okay, and then this part here has to be more orange than here, so let's do that. Slowly building the shadow that is on the bridge of his nose. I love, 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 love the fact that you can see the shadow of his eyelashes. It's so cool. It just adds like such unique funness. Kind of made the shape a little bit wrong there. Oh. It's my shape and I can do what I want. Comes down like this. Add a little bit of purple in there. So I'm really having some fun with the shadows, just throwing colors into there. And then letting the shapes sort of connect with each other. I'm going to put some orange in here, even though it's not really there, just because I think it would look really cool and rainbowy just to let it bloom into there. And then probably add a little bit of the blue on top of it. Pull that shape through here. Pull it into here, but then on the outside here, I'm going to tap in a little bit of the quinacridone red. Because I can. So continuing to work on these shadows in here, dropping in fun colors. I need to soften this edge here. I don't want that to spread too much, so just gonna blot it a little bit. And then bring that back. And this area here definitely needs to be softened with a little blot. So right now it's just a matter of me playing with edges and getting things to where I want them. And it might seem a little bit intimidating with the reflection of the glasses, but just remember on the outside edges of this reflection, that's where you can have the hard edges, and then in here is where you want soft edges and soft blending of the colors. And the way you do that is by keeping the areas on the outside of the skin dry and then pulling all the colors inward where the paper is damp. So then you get that beautiful soft effect and those gradations. That shape is all wrong there. I'm gonna have to fix fix that. But this brush does not have enough snap for me to do that. So I'm going to move over to this one here. I sort of lost that shape in there. Or did I? I don't know. I think I lost it. So I'm just going to have to like pretend I have something. But it's okay because, you know, you can just say it's inspired versus, you know, an exact copy here. It just doesn't have enough curve to it, so it doesn't look like it's matching the contour of his face. And the shadows pretty much need to match the contours, whatever they're being cast on. So gotta work on that, Lauren. Thanks, self. I will try. There we go. I think I got that where I want it now. But not really. We'll just pretend. You can hear like the difference of the brushes just by the sound that it makes on the paper. Like this brush almost like scratches at it versus the other one. I don't know, it doesn't really scratch at it as much. So all right, let's add a little bit more depth here. By getting the frame of his glasses, I do believe that it is dry enough that I can do that. I think this area here might be a little bit too dark. I think I need to blend this out a little bit too, just so I don't know, it has like a little bit more contrast from the sky. It's a little bit too damp in that area. I shouldn't have added the frame yet because now it's running. My line, it's running. Oh no. But I mean, it still looks pretty good. I'll just have to keep on coming and cleaning it up until it dries. All right, let's add some of the facial hair in. I know I still have like some details to do on the lips, but that's okay. So I'm using my number 4 brush, just the tip of it, sort of scrubbing in some of his facial hair. So I can try to get like a little bit more irregular brush stroke rather than like a perfect pattern. Because if you make it look like too perfect, it just doesn't look natural. So, I mean, no matter how amazing and flawless your facial grooming standards might be, always got to keep some sort of a regularity to it, at least when you're drawing and painting. I'm gonna have fun with his beard hair here. By making it rainbow. Mix up some more orange. And as I'm dropping the orange in there, I'm being careful not to manipulate it too much, because otherwise it'll overmix and make some really muddy, poopy colors, and I don't want a poopy painting, especially not at this point in the game when I am so happy with how the results are, how everything is sort of going to plan. So let's not ruin that yarn. Just gonna ignore this area for a little bit. Let it play. And this sort of like stabbing motion against the grain of the bristles that I'm doing right now is not exactly the best practice I found out for keeping your synthetic bristles intact, because it really starts to make them curl and shred. Supposedly, if you stick the bristles in like hot water, sometimes they'll like remember their original shape and sort of go back to what they were supposed to. I haven't tried that. Just the thought of like boiling my brushes sort of freaks me out. So his lips are very rosy right now. Perhaps a little too rosy. So I'm just gonna throw in some of the shadows here. This one here is a little too inaccurate and edgy, so I'm just gonna pull that one back. Blend that one in. Ooh, it's looking so nice. All right, adjusting position in the chair, because it is eyebrow time. Excuse me. just not painting with Lauren Arno unless there is hiccuping. Ha! I like that. Gonna work on his hair up here. I mean, I could probably even like get away with using a smaller brush up here, but this brush has still like a fairly good point to it. So just trying to get some texture and bring it down. Like I don't want his hair to look like it's just sort of like sitting because there are like some shadows from it. And you know, your hair just doesn't grow like you're, oh, what am I trying to say? You have scalp, you have skin underneath your hair. So you gotta like make sure you have some of those colors of skin under the hair. That is what I'm trying to say. Words, Lauren, do you have them? Some days. Other days, not so much. Let me see, do I have like a fine itty bitty wee brush? I do. This thing is so fine itty bitty that it doesn't carry much paint whatsoever. But I just need like an eyelash or something, please. Thank you. I sort of can see where his pupil is, but I don't feel like defining it so that his gaze is like undefined, because I think it's cooler if I just sort of leave that to the imagination. So I'm choosing not to elaborate that any further. I just want to smooth it over a little bit. I just want a little bit more orange and depth to his forehead here. A little bit more in this cheek, blah, 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 here, just so it pops a bit more. Now as far as his neck goes, like it's really difficult to see, especially in the printout that I have. So I'm just gonna let it like blend into like the nothingness of shadow here. sort of ruined that edge there, but I can take that back. And then kind of add some craziness over here. And blend that out as well. Yay, dog ownership. And there you have it. So the main portion of my portrait, I'm very, very happy with. I mean, if anybody wants to... Willow, sit. Sit. Willow. Sit. Sit. Are you done? It's just brother. And so try that again.
I got a bandage. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so there you have it. The main portion of what I want to do with the portrait is finished. If you want to continue yours further and add more below. So the main portion of this portrait for me is finished. If you want to continue yours further and add more detail into the fabric, any other little things that you want, that's you. But really enjoy playing with the textures and the contrast of the colors here. It's just absolutely wonderful photo to work from, reference to work from, just to practice your color theory. Just the beautiful contrast, like really enjoy that. As well as the very lovely contrast in light and dark in the way that the shadows are formed on his face and in the fabric. So thank you for joining, and I really can't wait to see what you are going to create. So don't forget to post and share. All right, thank you.